So, what we're going to cover today is merging mods using TES5Edit, so that we can try and reduce the size of our load order. The idea being that you can take a number of ESP files that don't change very much, or all change similar things, pack them all together into a single ESP file, and thereby give you some more space. In my case, so that I can add even more mods. But if your machine's struggling with the number of mods you have, you might want to do this, or you might just want to do it to clear up your load order. We're doing this in front of a live audience on Twitch, so we may be fielding some questions from the chat room, so if I stop to do that, don't be surprised. This video is also going to go up on YouTube, just as a bit of a demo for people, have it out there. So, what we're going to be doing today, as I said, we need to be choosing some mods that do similar things. Now, I've got a fair amount of NPC overhauls in my load order. What I have is Inhabitants of Skyrim, which is an NPC overhaul. Now, this overhauls all of the NPCs except for the followers. So we're going to be taking that one. We're also going to be looking at Ashara follower faces. Now these two produce a very similar look. They look great together in my opinion. This mod only changes the followers, so very little overlap between them. There's one character that overlaps between them, but we can have a look at that later. We're also going to look at bringing in Ethereal Elven Overhaul, because I much prefer the look of the Elven faces from this mod as opposed to any of the others and the vanilla ones. But I also like 83 Willow's version of Janessa as a dark elf. So I'm going to be using this as a overhaul as well. So what I'm going to be doing is taking all of those mods and packing them all into a single ESP file. Now bear with me 1 second. Apologies, as I say, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. Right, yes, so we're going to be packing all these down into a single ESP file. Now the important thing here is the scope. I'm doing this because all of these are makeovers of vanilla NPCs. There are other things in here that in my load order, like interesting NPCs. We're not going to be doing those. That falls outside the scope of what I plan on doing. We might decide to remove interesting NPCs at a later point. And if we pack into this, it would be very difficult to do that. We'd have to rebuild all the merge packs, all of that kind of stuff. The second thing we need to be aware of is patches. Now, there are patches for Ethereal. There's patches for, I think there's patches for Ashara as well. No, not that one. Sorry, Inhabitants. It has some patches as well. Generally speaking, you patch the patches for this with whatever it is it's patching. So in this case, it's intending to patch the unofficial Skyrim patch. With Ethereal Elven Overhaul, these are separate patches, but they offer things like interesting NPCs, and I think there's one for immersive patrols and inconsequential NPCs. All of these things, obviously, we would want to pack with each one of the things it's patching rather than this, because they need to be at different points in your load order. So, how do we go about doing this? Well, fairly straightforward. Let's have a look at NMM. I still use this, I don't use Mod Organizer. The first thing we need to have done is made sure that we've got these in the right places in our load order. Obviously, these days that's loot. Oh, pardon me. Alright, in these days it's loot, and we do that through editing the metadata, organizing optimising our mods. It's very difficult for me to tell you what the right load order is because it all depends on the mods that you're using. But what I would say is if you're going to merge mods, only merge those that you've actually been using. Have them installed, play through with them, make sure they work for you, make sure that your load order's right, you're not getting any crashes or any of that kind of stuff. Make sure that they're giving you the right kind of play that you want, and then patch them. Don't just download a load of stuff off Nexus and build a merge patch out of them, because you're going to end up undoing it or scrapping it later on. I've already been playing with these. I've been playing with all of these mods already. I know that the load order's right. Every game loads up, it plays fine, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But do make sure that you've done that first. Make sure you're comfortable with them. Now, the first thing we're going to do, you can see these are all my previous merges. We're going to create a new folder for this. We're going to call it merged vanilla NPC overhaul merge pack. Oh, sorry, mod pack, not merge pack. Mod pack. We're going to create two folders in here. We're going to create a data folder, and we're going to create a source folder. Now, the easiest way I found to do this is using the folder, the mods folder from Nexus Mod Manager. Pop that open. This has all of your already downloaded and unpacked and installed mods in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab all of the files that we need out of here. And there's the 83 Willows Janessa follower. Just going to copy that across to the source folder. We've got Ashara's. Where's that? Let's take a look down here. I forget what the download is called. Interesting. Now, if this isn't something you can find, the easiest way to do it is to look it up on the Nexus. This is the version we have. Hit download manually and see what file name pops up, and we know what we're looking for. Follower faces, there we go. Follower faces 80. Oops. There we go, that's the one we need. Just drag that across there. We need the Ethereal Elven Overhaul, which is this one. That's the UKSP patch. Now this one's a bit different because Ethereal loads after UKSP. Rather than it patching UKSP, the USKP, sorry, the unofficial Skyrim patch, this is actually patching Ethereal Elven Overhaul to reflect the settings that are in the unofficial patch. So we will actually be merging this one as well. What else did we say we needed? Let's take a look. What else have we got on our list? Oh, and inhabitants of Skyrim as well. Where are we? Not doing too well with picking these up. This is a lesson about mod makers' naming conventions and how wild they are. None of them, see, they don't match up. Back here again, this is the version we have installed. We'll find out what it is that they've called it. NPC Overhaul version 1. Of course. Why would I have thought it was anything different? There we are, MPC Overhaul version 1. We copy that over there as well. That's quite a large one, but that's fine. Just check we've got all the patches that we need for that. There's another USKP patch for this as well. Let's just make sure that we know what that one's called. USKP patch, obviously. There it is there. Okay. So, we have all of these. These are everything that we're going. We can close that. We're not going to need that again. So these are all the mods that we're going to be patching. We're not going to unpack these just yet because TES5Edit can only work with those ESP files that are in your load order, which is why I was saying about playing with them and making sure that you've got them installed correctly and everything. It will respect your load order when it comes to merging them as well, which is another reason why you need to get your your load order correct. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for the various mods that we have. Actually, rather than me doing that, because I can guess what these are, I've looked at these before, I'll show you how best to look for these. So if we actually open up this zip file, and we look by the name of the ESP file that's in here. So if I paste that in there, it gives us the ESP file. We know we've got the right one. We'll go along and grab each one of these in turn. Oops, wrong one, that one. That's actually a replacer. That's interesting. So that will be the one that we've actually got installed now. If we go down here, there's the Ethereal Elven Overhaul. That will have actually been replaced by the UKSP or USKP version of the patch. So that's fine, we don't need to worry about that one. This is the importance of knowing your load order. Follower faces, there's a Shara. Oops, where am I going? My apologies. MPC Overhaul. Overhaul patch, which is that one there. Okay, now what I should have covered, we've covered the fact that we've got TES5Edit available on Axis. What we'll also need is this merge plugins xedit script. It's very simple install, just follow the instructions, it's all laid out there. Read the documentation. The installation is basically just dropping it into the right folder. Dead straightforward. And we will need BSA opt. Now when I upload this to YouTube, I'll put all of these links under the video as well, so everyone can see those. These three together are what we're going to be using. Mainly TES5Edit with the merge script. We'll use BSA opt for unpacking any archives we come across. My apologies, I should have covered that earlier. Okay, so we've got all of our ESP files ticked. we've got to do is hit OK. TES5Edit will go through and load all of those. And you'll see that not only is it loaded the ones that we want to patch, but it's also loaded all of the ones that those are reliant on. You see Apaches in there as well. What this means is that although we're not going to pack Apache in with these because we need that for other things, we can't put Apache into a merge pack. If we try to do that, the ones that are reliant on it will crash. If we could pack them and use them ourselves in game, but anything that's reliant on it wouldn't be able to find them. So we'll leave those ones well alone. Now, the first thing we need to do is make sure that these are clean. We get a lot of dirty edits in mods sometimes, particularly the older ones. So the first thing we're going to do is go run through each one of these and check for errors. Just right click it, check for errors. It should come up saying checking for errors, all done for each one of these. Check for errors, all coming back clean. Nice, so we're all good. Looks like we're all doing well. So we've got inhabitants of Skyrim, Ashara follower faces, ethereal elven overhaul, and its USKP patch, and the Janessa 83 Willow Janessa makeover. So, and that's the order that we want to be merging these in. Next step is very easy. What we do is hold down the control key, right click each one of them in turn to select them all. Sorry, left click each one of them in turn to select them all. Then we right click and choose apply script. Now what we should have, if we've put the merge plugin script in the right place, it will be here in the drop down list. Merge plugins version 1.65 currently. This is in active development. That version number may change, but this process is likely to stay the same. Once we've selected that, hit OK, and come up with this. Now, we've already decided we don't want to patch that. We don't want to include these in our merge pack, so we're going to leave those alone. There's all the ones that we do want to. Copy intelligence is selected by default. That is by far and away the most sensible one. The other two are just legacy versions. Don't worry about those. We do want to do two-pass copying. This is a new method that I've just included for copying records, and it works much better, particularly when it comes to copying nav meshes. Renumbering form IDs. Now this is a question. It depends on what you want to do with regards to renumbering form IDs. Form IDs are the way that we identify pretty much everything in the game. The engine does. And these are the things that get baked into your save. So for instance, if you had a mod with a particular weapon in it, and you had a save where you were wielding that weapon, it was in your inventory, if you renumbered this form ID here, the game would take it away. It wouldn't be in your inventory anymore because it wouldn't recognise that form ID anymore. However, if you're in between playthroughs, that kind of thing, you can renumber it, it won't be a problem. For this, because we're talking about NPCs that are actually in the game, the form IDs are important. We want to keep those because they're overwriting the vanilla ones. If we change them, they may not do that. And we need to make sure that they continue to do that. So we're actually going to untick that. We're not going to renumber the form IDs. And then hit OK. We will be creating a new file. In fact, you'll find it's your only option. So hit OK, and we're going to give that the same name that we gave our folder. Merged NPC. Or was it vanilla NPC? Was it vanilla NPC overhaul mod pack? And hit OK. Now this will go through and start copying records to our new ESP file. Don't worry if it's all a bit difficult to follow. All of this will be, you can go back onto YouTube and watch this over and over again while you're doing it. And hopefully you should get a step-by-step idea of exactly how to do this. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to doing it, and it will be pretty much a breeze after a few tries. There are some more complicated ones. Climates of Tamriel, which is 15 ESP files I recently merged, and that was a challenge, but it works fine as far as I can tell. This does take a couple of minutes, particularly when you're dealing with something with a large amount of data in it. And there we are. It's copied the 1169 records. There's our merged vanilla patch. Now the last thing we need to do is check that for errors as well. Make sure that we haven't created any problems while we've been doing this. That's good. Just hit the red X in the top right hand corner. Now sometimes it will come up with other mods that you've added in this list. Do not just hit OK. You can right click, select none, and then tick the one that you actually want to save. So the easiest way to scrub your existing mods is overwriting them with something you've done in here. We'll hit OK on that. That's done. Now, what we want to do then, go into our Skyrim data folder, and you'll find merged NPC overhaul mod pack. That's where we are. I'm going to go back to our other folder that we set up here. I'm going to go into data. This is the one that we set up for our data stuff. I'm going to drag that into there. I'm going to move it. We don't want it in this list anymore, because we're going to install this back into using Nexus Mod Manager so that we can keep track of it. We know it's there. We know when things get overwritten. Close that. We won't be needing that again. Right. This is where BSA opt comes in, and we will need this. The link to it will also be included under the video, but this is basically it's an archive unpacker and repacker. What we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of our mods that we've got set up, and we're going to unpack them properly. We're going to go back into our source folder. I'm going to open our first one of these, and you'll go into the data part of this. Now you see we've got our original ESP here, but we've also got two folders, textures and meshes. Bear with me 1 second. My apologies for that. As I said earlier, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. I'll just have to cut out the dead air for the final one. So we don't. Quite often you'll find a BSA file in here. These are the ones we need to unpack. Textures and meshes we can just unzip. So what we'll do is we'll copy that to the folder that we're going to be working with, which is our data folder. So if we go down here, you'll see that's our mod pack. Select the data folder and OK that. OK that. So those are unpacked. That's texture and meshes. Come back out of that one. Go into ethereal. Again, no BSA file, so we're good there. Textures and meshes. Extract those to the data folder. Oops. A little bit too far. Textures and meshes again. Now, we already know that. Let's just cancel that. I'll come back up here and I'll show you. That's the DLC patch that we've just unpacked. This is the Elven Overhaul original. Now the DLC, we do want it to overwrite this, but we don't want it to overwrite that. Now quite often what I tend to do, what I've failed to do here, so this is a good illustration, is to unpack these in your load order. So the way that they run in your load order, which will be the NPC overhaul, then follower faces, then ethereal, then Janessa, would be the way that you'd unpack here. Then you can just overwrite anything you like. So let's do that. Let's clear this out. We'll do it the proper way. Let's delete those. We'll do this the way that we should be doing it. So, NPC overhaul, textures and meshes, copy that to our data folder. We've got our merged vanilla NPC overhaul mod pack data folder, the one we set up earlier. Extract that. A lot of face geometry being unpacked there. Then we have follower faces, textures and meshes. We don't need the foam mod, that's just some information about for Nexus Mod Manager when it's unpacking stuff. So we can copy that to the data folder too. And yes, we do want to overwrite everything now, because we're unpacking this in our load order. We have the USKP patch for the NPC overhaul, so we need to unpack that too. It's just an ESP file, we're good. Nothing to unpack there. Ethereal Elven overhaul, that's the next one. Copy that to our data folder. Yes to all, we do want to overwrite all of that. The DLC patch as well, let's do that one. And then finally Janessa's information as well. Yes to all. So, we should now have, we're actually not going to need BSA opt, but I will run through how to use that in a second. I'll show you in one of the other merges that I've done. We'll just pick one of them at random. Well, let's do the one I did today actually, because I know there's some BSAs in there. Let's have a quick look through. No, that's not going to work then. Tattoo pack, that was something I did a while back. There's quite a few BSAs in there. So, if I go into our source folder, typical that I picked one that hasn't got one. There we go. So, that's an archive. basically it's exactly what we've just seen. Let's copy that to somewhere else. Copy that to our data folder for that one. Tattoo mod pack, there's the data folder, we'll stick that in there. Now what we do is when we've started BSA Opt, just browse to where our merge patches are. Merge mod packs, tattoo data. You'll see there's a BSA file in there. Open that up, and you can see that's all that's in it. Scripts, textures, nothing more. It's nothing more complicated than that. Drop this box down and select everything, star.star, and apply that. Hit browse. It's already in the right folder. Just click on use folder and unpack, and it will just unpack all the files that are inside it. Scripts, textures, meshes, everything. Once you've done that, just delete the BSA. Dead easy. So go in there and get rid of that because I don't need it anymore. BSA Opt is very, very easy. Right, so we do have all of our meshes and textures unpacked. Look in here, we've got loads of stuff. There's these shower things, we've got actors in here, ethereal, loads of face geometry, loads of stuff in there. And all we're going to do is we're going to go back up to here, data folder, use 7-zip to compress it into a single zip file. This may take some time. So what I will do when we upload this to YouTube is skip this part right to the very end of this packing tutorial. Howdy guys, sorry I'm not talking to the stream much. This video is going up on YouTube, so yeah, if you've got any questions, give us a shout. It's basically a tutorial for merging mods, and I'm sorry Nernia, I don't need a pet chicken. I already have 2 children and a cat. Besides which, you're probably one of those exploding chickens. You also have to excuse me for taking pauses as well. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. It's still got a bit of a cough hanging off it. Yeah, well there you go. You see? Exploding chicken, I told you. This does take a while, unfortunately. One of the very few things I can't do anything about. Not exactly the most scintillating viewing is watching a progress bar. If anybody's got any questions, now would be the time to ask. I'm assuming it's all perfectly clear to everybody, which is cool. Plus the fact that you can watch this back on YouTube later if you need to. It'll be up in a couple of days. I'm going to have to do a bit of editing to cut out me coughing and things, and waiting for this. Well, no, we should be good. Okay, so we're done. Now, just to make sure that we know which mod pack we're talking about, we're going to take the name of the we set up for this, same as the name as the ESP file. I'm going to rename this zip file to be exactly the same. Then, what we're going to do now, this is the slightly scary part. We're going to pull out some of these mods, because we can't try this with all this in here. So there's our Janessa mod. I'm going to pull that out. Okay. We have our Shara follow faces. I'm going to pull that out. We have our Inhabitants of Skyrim and USKP patch. We're going to pull those out. Now don't delete them out of this order, because you might want to, if this doesn't work, generally it does, but if it doesn't, you may want to put these back in again. Remove your merge patch and put it back in again. So just leave them in there for the moment until you're satisfied that everything works, and then you can pull them out. So that's those two. And what else? Oh, what else did we merge? Oh, Ethereum. Which is up here. And the DLC patch, I think we did as well, didn't we? Yes, we did. Now the rest of these we're going to leave in here, because as I said earlier, these patches apply to interesting NPCs, inconsequential NPCs. Oh, and we did that one as well. So if we were going to merge those in with other stuff, then that's fine, but as things stand, we leave those in here. Then we're going to add our merged patch in. So I was doing a weather mod earlier. Vanilla NPC overhaul. So we're using this button up here, which is add from file. Finding our mod pack, adding it in. Once it's added, go down to our merged vanilla NPC overhaul mod pack and activate that. And this is going to take some time. Oddly enough, a similar amount of time that all of the other mods took to take out. Let's just have a look and see on what we might be saving ourselves. So there's at least 6 ESP files we're saving ourselves while we're doing this, which is 6 slots that you could be using in your game for something else, which is always useful if you run very close to the 255 ESP limit like I do. You see that there's, these are all the other merge packs I've done, and I was talking earlier about merging things that are very similar, so tattoos, hairs, not including Apache, facial features, so like freckles and things like that, eyes. I've got several bird mods that I packed together there. There's a merge of all of my patches that I've created, armour and clothing for kids. There's a Whiterun overhaul I'm working on that's there. A few more fast lift, side races, try. Yes, we do need to overwrite that. This is actually caused by Ethereal Elven Overhaul. It's updating some of the face geometry that's stored in ECE. So yes, we do want to overwrite those. Done. So that's in there. We've taken all the others out. The only thing left to do is to try the game and see if we've broken anything. Make sure it all still works. So I'm going to start up Skyrim. I'll switch over the stream to the Skyrim stream that we normally use when we're playing, and we'll see what we've hopefully we've done nothing and everything looks exactly the same. Don't be surprised if this pops up. 0 deaths so far, yes. We haven't got into the game yet. Could be a problem if we had. Don't be surprised if this pops up. That's to be expected. We have just removed a load of mods and put one new one in. So you would expect this to come up, but the effect should still be the same once we actually get into the game. Now I think the best place to test this is probably the Drunken Huntsman. Because we've got standard NPCs in there. We've got standard vanilla NPCs, so we can check their makeup, their makeover. We've got elven NPCs running the place, and Janessa's there as well, so that's probably a good place to start, I think. And we'll nip into Breeze Home and take a look at Lydia as well, make sure that she's looking okay. This is a bit you don't normally see me having to sit through, apart from when we crash. I usually let you look at the interval stream instead. When you've got a game as heavily modified as mine is, though, the startup time is a little bit longer than normal. Okay, so we're in game. Nothing crashed horribly, we're doing alright so far. Guards aren't covered by the overhauls though, unfortunately. So what we will do is let's find out where the huntsman is. White Run Drunken Huntsman, so we are.
Huh?
That's an inconsequential NPC, I think. Well, Elrindir's got his
Yes.
good luck.
What can I get you?
His correct luck.
Pour me an ale.
How
Which
much
is
of
good.
our money have you spent today? Anything left, or is it all gone?
Question is,
Woman will be the death of me yet.
not here.
Ah, hello, my Nord friend. In the market for some hunting supplies?
Get out of the way, dog. She's often hanging around out here as well, so we can go and see if she's there. So we know Inhabitants of Skyrim is working, which is good. Thank you very much, Terry. That's the Bosmeric Drunken Huntsman. That's actually part of the Whiterun merge pack that I'm working on. 5 or 6 Whiterun mods all merged into a single city, a single ESP, so I can edit it and muck about with it to my heart's content. Bit of a personal project, that one. So we know, sorry, not, we know our NPC overhaul's working. We know Ethereal Elven Overhaul is working because that was Elrondil. So they're both fine. It's just Janessa we need to check. And Ashara, so we need to find a vanilla follower, which would be Lydia, that's in Breezehome.
Blade and shadow,
There she is.
silence
Where is she?
and death. These are my arts. For a modest fee.
And she's
I make
looking
great art
as she
for
should
you.
as well. All of her scary eyes and tattoos and things,
I know
and face
nothing
makeup.
of fear and nothing of remorse. Pay
So,
my fee,
her
and
mod worked as
together
well.
Vanquish any foe.
And we'll try Breezehome, make sure Ashara's is working okay as well. And for some reason, and I don't know why, Lydia does like to hang out downstairs in her room. There she is.
Long life to you.
So that's Ashara working too, so she's got her proper makeover as well. So that's it.
Honored to see you again, my Thane.
Yes, we all know you are. Okay. That is modding. Let me just switch you back to that. Get rid of that. And that is merging mods. All successful, all worked very well. I'd be inclined to play for a bit more before you go through and delete the mods out of here, but as soon as you're happy, you can get rid of those, clean your load order, clean your Nexus mod manager up a bit, or MO, or whatever it is you're using. And other than that, it should all work fine.